If you do not have an ultrasound scan, you do not have a beta HCG, then what do? At least you can do a progesterone analysis and the levels below a cutoff range, the probability of a non-viable extrauterine pregnancy, and if it is more than 25 nanograms per ml, of course, the ectopic will be ruled out. So at least this much. And of course, in the era of infertility and the ART procedures, whenever you scan, do be careful of getting the twin pregnancy, diamniotic monochorionic, or a dichorionic pregnancy should be taken always into care. And therefore, if we are dealing with any RH negative patients, we should, with due care, see that she has always been injected by an entity in case there is RH negative women who is having a surgical procedure. But if she's solely on the medical therapy, then of course you may not give an entity. So that is how we move on with diagnostic for a early pregnancy bleed. And the blessings I've already received. So in the end, I would like to say that hope sometimes is all that you have. But when you have nothing else. If you have it, you think that you have got everything. Thank you so much for a patient here. May I finish with my slides? Siddhant? Siddhant, can you hear me? Siddhant?
Siddhant,
I finished with my slides, please.
So, Ritu,
Siddhant, can you hear me? A lot of disturbance.
I don't know. There is some problem with the internet. So we had a very lucid talk on early vaginal bleeding, and in less than half an hour, I think she has been able to cover each and every aspect of the problem, how to go about it. For our revision, this was a very, very nice talk and very on a very common subject and very useful one. So, Abha, do you have some questions?
I don't find any questions, Anita Ji. I don't find any questions in the chat box. Can the organizers say if there are any questions in the chat box? I can't find any.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
Doctors, please put your questions in the chat box.
Okay, no problem. I think Ritu has been very clear in her deliberation. Things got cleared on by her talk. So there is no question.
Yeah. Okay, fine. We've got a wonderful panel. I think.
Hello.
Siddhant, why there is so much of disturbance?
Ma'am, somebody was changing the slides, not from.
I know. I could.
Yeah.
But the slides are and the other person can change. Hello. Okay, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Siddharth? Ma'am, there are no questions yet, so we can have this panel discussion.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, we can tell Siddharth just to. Siddharth, can you put my panel discussion?
Yeah, ma'am.
Yes, Nima, you are audible.
Yes.
Please ask the person
Yes.
for a better relay, because there is so much disturbance in the sound. In
Hello.
panel, it will be difficult actually to
Audible?
Siddharth, have you loaded my panel?
Okay. I know. Discussion.
Priyanka, we can't hear Siddharth.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, chairperson, Dr. Anita Singh, madam.
Yeah, ma'am.
Thank you both for chairing the session so nicely, and thank you, Dr. Ritu Khanna, for your wonderful presentation. You had explained all the all the causes so beautifully, especially the ultrasound findings. I love those. Just I wanted to ask, you had mentioned about pseudo-sac. So what is the difference between pseudo-sac and an embryonic pregnancy?
Yeah, I said, it will just look like a fluid-filled structure, a decidual cast, and it won't be having an echogenic ring around. So I showed both the pictures together, so that a double decidual sign will not be there if it is a pseudo pregnancy sac.
Okay. The double sign won't be there.
Yeah. So that's why I put both the pictures together.
Other questions
so
I'm not finding. Okay. Okay.
Siddharth, you're going to load my
wants
panel.
to ask any question or the chairpersons or I think Priyanka and all, they wanted to play a small 30 seconds or something like that. So I can can present it right now. Yes, you can do it right now.
Yeah, ma'am, but Ritu ma'am's presentation, I think one more is there, right, ma'am? Ritu ma'am?
Yeah, I'll start with the panel. Hello? If you want to do the panel I have to do.
Okay,
Hello,
okay,
Dr.
no
Ritu.
issues.
Yeah.
Hello, Dr.
Okay.
Ritu.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, just one question I wanted to ask. Like you said about pregnancy of unknown location. You said.
Yes.
So in that case, a differential can be a complete abortion. Can it be?
You know what?
Maybe
I was
she has
very
adopted.
happy. I was very happy when Anita ma'am stressed, that you really can't. These days we are on the scan, so we just try to do a scanning. So we should never miss a per speculum examination. Sometimes you will just see all the clots at the sac. You're not seeing a cavity. In the cavity, there's no sac, gestational sac. So you just put your speculum, you're seeing it's lying low down, outside. So that was a very good point. Yes.
Thank you.
So you want to play the video?
No, ma'am, you can start with the panel discussion. We will play it at the last.
Okay, fine. I'll just put back my slide.
Yeah.
Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah.
Yes.
You can play in the slideshow, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay, I'll play the slideshow. Just a minute.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Hello.
So I'll request Neelam ma'am. Neelam ma'am, are you there?
Yeah, hello. Now we move on to a panel discussion.
Okay.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, you are audible, Niba. I'm calling the panel. I'm calling the panelists. Okay.
Hello, Priyanka.
So for the panel.
Yes, ma'am.
We can start. Neelam ma'am here. Neelam ma'am.
Yeah.
Neelam ma'am can start with the panel.
Right. So for the panel discussion, I invite our panelists. First of all, Dr. Ramadhar Tiwari. He was ex-head of department in Magad Medical College, Gaya. And he is a long time he is in Gaya. I know him since very long, and he is a very busy practitioner, very well established person there, and plus a very academic one. So I invite Dr. Ramadhar Tiwari to join the panel. Then he is president of Bharat Ops and Gynae Society, as I said in the introduction. Then my second panelist is Dr. Anju Turier. I invite Dr. Anju Turier. She is also president of Bhagalpur Ops and Gynae Society, good friend, and she is consultant gynecologist, chief medical officer, and ex-deputy superintendent, Sadar Hospital, Navachia, president of FOXI, Bhagalpur chapter, and zonal coordinator, IAEC, East Zone. She is also vice president of AOG-SBJ, that is Associations of Bear and Dust and Association, and life member of IMA-IMS and member of CINP committee. There are many disturbances. I don't know what has happened. Somebody is putting the music on also.
Priyanka, can we have all mute? Otherwise, you won't enjoy the panel.
Please make Otherwise, the panel will
But
nobody
I cannot see anything. One slide is there for panelists and nothing else.
Please.
Hello, please mute everybody.
Sure. And someone is saying
Then the
something.
other panelist is Dr. Dr. Pallavi Roy,
Introduction.
and
Okay,
she is
so why can't I see anything?
president of Muzaffarpur Obs and Gynae Society.
Re-log in again.
She is also president there and a very good practitioner and very great academician. She has a special interest in traveling, as I know her, and that's make her more of my friend. The other panelist is Dr. From over here only, Patna only, our Dr. Chitra Sinha. She is professor in PMCH, associate professor in PMCH, and very good academician.
No.
I can hear you on the phone.
Okay. I cannot hear anything.
I'll just call the.
Hello.
Just check my distance.
Hello.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay.
Hello. प्रणाम. थोड़ी देर बाद बात करें. हम वेबिनार में हैं अभी. मैं वेबिनार में हूँ. कुछ देर बाद बात करूँ. ओके. ठीक.
मीटिंग होने का सब समझ.
इसको वेबिनार में.
Siddharth, Ritu ma'am,
Yeah. Can I go on? Neela ma'am is there, who's introducing all the panelists. Okay. Dr.
Neelam ma'am is not seen now. Neelam.
Should I continue then?
Yeah.
Dr. Chitra Sinha, I think we've introduced. She's Associate Professor Obs Gynae, Patna Medical College. And Dr. Jayoti Malhotra, who's Consultant Gynecologist, Kurji Holy Hospital, Family Hospital, Patna. And Dr. Savita is from ARA, but she is not able to join us because of some emergency that she had. And if I can start, Neela ma'am is there, or I can proceed, madam?
Neelam ma'am is not there, ma'am. You can proceed.
Okay, fine. So we just come to the first case, and that is 23 years old. She's gravida 2, para 1. The first 2 years ago was an intrauterine death at 32 weeks and because of eclampsia. Now she's come to me and she has a history of 3 months amenorrhea. So how do I really proceed going with her? Could I just move on to Dr. Ramadha Tiwari, sir, please? So how do we move out? Now she's come with very lot of high hopes with us. At first IUD of 32 weeks and now she's at 3 months of amenorrhea. Dr. Tiwari, Dr. Ramadha Tiwari, sir. Hello. Priyanka?
Yeah, ma'am. Tiwari sir is seen. Tiwari sir?
Is he? I hope he's not mute.
No, he's not mute.
There's a lot of disturbance out here. No?
Yeah. Siddharth?
I don't know. Siddharth? Dr. Tiwari, are you there, sir? Hello?
He's there online.
Hello, Dr. Tiwari is there. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are audible, but Dr. Tiwari, we can't hear.
He is mute, I think. Yes. I was off internet for a few minutes.
Neela ma'am, you're there, is it?
Yeah, now I'm there.
Yeah, she's
Okay, fine. So I just started Neela ma'am with the first case, but we wanted Dr. Tiwari to be there with us.
So Dr. Tiwari is there, but I think he is not able to unmute. Dr. Tiwari, are you there? I can call him.
Can the host unmute him?
Siddhant, just unmute Dr. Tiwari.
सेम में हो तो फिर वो उठाएंगे भी नहीं फोन.
He's offline now.
Okay, fine. So any of the panelists will go ahead with it. If you can, now she's coming, and what do we do? We just have to go into a little detail of her things and what we could do with her. Any of the panelists will start, or Pallavi ma'am, Dr. Chitra, Dr. Anju, anyone could be starting it with, please.
Well, can I? Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes.
Hello.
I can.
Yes.
Can you hear?
Yes,
Hello?
yes, we can hear.
Okay, so this patient has got eclampsia in the previous pregnancy.
Yes.
And therefore, and then IUD also. So
Yes.
she is really a high risk case, and she should be investigated. There can be, there can be maternal diseases like antiphospholipid syndromes, or there can be repeat eclampsia also. And then we have to think about the IUD and why did it happen. So 3 months, yes, she has to be investigated from the maternal diseases point of view and from the recurrence point of view.
Yes.
And of course, so we have to look into that.
Yeah.
And we can go about all this by doing 11 to 14 weeks. You have to do this time, like, an ultrasonography, of course, and a Doppler for uterine artery, because we have to rule out this PIH and preeclampsia thing, and viability and everything, beta HCG and PAPE. It is sort of a marker, but not very, very sensitive type thing, but still we have to do that. And of course, then maternal blood pressure monitoring should be done, and her kidney function and liver function should also be given a baseline assessment at least.
Right. And
that is what I think.
That means you really want to put her all the risk factors that she has, do a scoring. There are a lot of scoring systems, and we could use any. And this was what you were concerned with, is about the gestational hypertension in the future pregnancy. If it is there, it could even go to 53% if she had a gestational, or a pregnancy in future pregnancy out of 16%. And of course, the higher risk that she has, as you mentioned. And we have different markers that you said very correctly. We've got so many, but the ones we stick to, is because of the pathophysiology that there is any of the panelists else wants to add on this pathophysiology. Very, very important what is going on inside and in these patients. Dr. Chitra or Dr. Anju?
Yes.
Yeah, you could just stress on this pathophysiology which is going in these preeclampsia patients, or which are at high risk.
I'm not able to see the screen properly. I'm trying to do that.
Okay. Dr. Pallavi, you're there? Okay. So I'll just go into it that...
Pathophysiology.
Yeah.
Oh dear, it's coming and going.
Internet.
Okay, fine. I'll just, by the time...
Dr. Ramadhar Tiwari is also having problems with net. He is unable to unmute himself, and
No problem.
he can hear our voices.
Okay,
and
fine. So by the time he sets in, I'll just...
modeling.
Yes.
Frequency. There's vasoconstriction and hemorrhage, clotting and declotting factors, and There are changes in the early pregnancy of extravillous trophoblasts, which a larger diameter blood flow. Apart from this, the high BP may.
Basically, there has to be a spiral artery in the bottle.
Yeah, it leads to
So-
endothelial damages.
Yes. So and the trophoblast displaces all the smooth muscles and the endothelial cells, and therefore you get a larger blood vessel, a larger diameter, and the blood flow is decreased and the resistance is decreased. So that is a vital step for higher requirement of the fetus. And this here there is a vasoconstriction, there is a hemorrhage, and a necrosis also. So this you correctly mentioned that the uterine artery Doppler needs to be done. And
I want a full screen of this.
can you see the peak systolic value should be more than 60 centimeters per second? And a very important point, my panelists are here, that as you correctly said, that the mean arterial pulsatility index would be higher, and the uterine notching, if you see at this time, it has no role, and you need to see the uterine artery of both sides, and you take a mean. So I think we've done. And the promising markers which are there. The promising markers you mentioned, that's with the PAP-A we have. And if the value is less than 0.4 MOM. And the placental growth factors, of course, what happens is the PIGF will be decreasing. And so these biomarkers help us. Are you there, Dr. Pallavi?
Can you help me?
Dr. Pallavi, are we all on the line? Neelam ma'am, are we all on the line?
Pallavi ma'am is seen, but I don't know why she's not.
Maximize. I want to
Pallavi ma'am.
Defective correct, sir. Not audible.
Some problem is going on, so nobody is able to connect or what?
Siddharth, how do we sort it out?
Tiwari sir, can you hear me?
Ramadhar Tiwari is also there online, but
yeah.
Maybe Neelam ma'am, the problem is at their end. Maybe at their end they have got the internet problem.
So we
okay,
have
so he
Dr.
is able to speak. Dr. Pallavi, I can't see.
You can go like this.
Dr. Ramadhar Tiwari, can you hear? Hello, Dr. Tiwari, can you hear? Can you?
No.
Can you speak from there?
Hello.
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Hello. Hello.
Yes, we can hear you in on the screen.
Priyanka, can you help us out with it?
Hello.
Hello, Dr. Tiwari, can you hear?
I'm hearing, but there is some problem in connectivity.
No, we can hear you,
sir.
We can hear you.
Are you hearing?
I'm not able to
Yes,
see properly.
we can hear you. You are audible and you are visible also. Keep the connection like that. Okay. Pallavi, I can't find.
Hello. Hello.
Yeah,
Pallavi, are you there? Pallavi, are you there? You are there. But we can't see you when we can't hear you.
Hello. Hello.
Hello, Pallavi.
Hello.
Hello, Pallavi. Are you Pallavi? Please put on your camera on. Your camera is also off, but we can't see you. Is Dr. Pallavi visible? It is not visible in my phone actually.
No, she is not visible.
I can see
No,
you.
doctor is not visible.
Dr. Pallavi is not visible.
Siddharth, accept the presenters, please. I think, the panelists just mute everybody. We rid of disturbance out here. Dr. Chitra is there? Dr. Chitra?
No, I cannot see Dr. Chitra. I cannot see Dr. Chitra.
Dr. Chitra is not being seen. Nibha. Hello, Nibha.
Dr. Anju is there? Dr. Anju?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
Anju.
Dr. Anju is there. Dr.
Okay. And Dr. Jayati? Jayati Malhotra.
Yeah, I'm
Jayati
here.
is there.
Yeah.
Dr.
Okay.
Ramadha
So we are-
Tiwari is there.
Okay, we are
Dr.
missing
Pallavi is
on.
also there, but she
Okay,
can't. I
Pallavi?
can't. She is
Pallavi,
either
can you-
mute but she is there. She is still logged in. She is logged. I'll call her and then find what has happened.
I think
It is
just-
some problem at their end.
And Siddharth, please mute
Yeah,
all
that
the
is what I'm
others.
saying. It's problem at their end only.
Yes.
Dr. Chitra is not visible.
The Chitra is not connected.
Chitradi is not logged in, na? Because I can't see.
Siddharth, what is this voice? सिद्धांत उसको ऑफ कर दो वॉइस को
नहीं आ रहा
अरे तो क्या Is Dr. Chitra there? Dr. Pallavi? What is this noise, Priyanka?
Dr. Pallavi was unable to join. I mean, so she is logging out and then again she will be coming back, logging in, so that she can join. I mean.
Okay, fine. Then I think we move the panel further. If
Yeah, ma'am.
Anju is there, Dr. Jyoti is there, and Dr. Pallavi,
Right.
I think is Dr. Tiwari is there. So would you,
Yes.
Dr. Tiwari, are you able to hear us? Tiwari?
Tiwari sir, approved from your side. I have sent you the request. Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah, Diva
Jyoti,
ma'am
can
is
you hear me?
here. Yes, ma'am. Yes,
I
ma'am.
think Dr. Chitra is not connected. Dr. Chitra is not connected, and Dr. Pallavi is not connected.
Pallavi ma'am is seen online. Her mic is also on. I don't know. Pallavi ma'am?
I think, what I'll do is, Neela ma'am.
Yes.
I think we have Dr. Anita ma'am and Abha ma'am with us. So I think
Yes.
we can move forward. We can join with them.
Yes. Yes.
And,
Right.
for the two people, and then
And we can move forward. Yeah.
Yes, because there were interesting things, and we'll be
You're
missing
right.
on them. And subsequently,
Right.
somebody can call Dr. Chitra and Dr. Pallavi, and they can join.
Yeah. Nibha, you call Dr. Chitra because I am unable to get her. Pallavi is there, but she is unable to talk. I mean,
So Anita ma'am is there
next,
because I'm not able to see.
Anita
with
madam is.
Abha ma'am is
Hello,
there.
Anita di. Abha is there.
Abha ma'am.
Abha was there. Abha was there. Just let me see.
We can just check and then move forward, I think.
Yeah. I think Abha is also, this is the problem with Anita Di is logged in, but she is unable to, I mean, she is not being seen. Pallavi is also logged in. Anita Di is there. Anita Di. Hello, Anita Di.
Yes, Neela.
Yeah.
Please, आप थोड़ा सा help कीजिए.
Madam, you can join us because two panelists we're not
in the
able to
panel.
connect.
Okay,
So
okay.
we'll just move further. And Abha ma'am, if she can join us, it will be wonderful. So we'll just
Yes.
move with the panel. And we were stressing, I think Dr. Tiwari is not there, so we were stressing upon all these biomarkers which are very, very important for us, and the uterine PI and the mean arterial pressure that we take. And so this is there. And next we come to the prevention part. We can have any of the panelists to take it, that what are the preventive, there's a whole list of these things that I have. And what actually can we do to this patient? We know she's a high-risk patient, and we really don't want her to go into a preeclampsia, eclampsia. So what would be the preventive measures that you would like to take or give to her, some medications and all? Anybody can take it up.
Hello, Abha, you are also
Yes,
one of the panelists.
I think, okay, well, since this patient has come before 16 weeks of pregnancy, and the only intervention that has been proven by evidence is starting off low dose aspirin.
Yes.
And usually the initially we were doing with 75 milligram aspirin, but now the recommended dose is 150 milligram of aspirin. There are many things that have been advocated, like vitamin E or fish liver oils, and but all these things, they are not or arginine. These things are not evidence-based. The only thing that is evidence-based is use of aspirin. That is 150 milligram per day. And if it is to be started, it has to be started before 16 weeks of pregnancy.
Yes. So this was one.
Another I want to add is 12 weeks pregnancy, isn't it?
Yes, ma'am.
Now to the 12 weeks. So we can start her with high dose calcium also.
Yes.
2 grams per day. So because calcium, as Rabha very rightly said, aspirin 150 milligram and calcium 2 gram per day. We should start her with. Otherwise, I don't think any other elements that you showed just now had got any proven role in prevention or progression of the disease.
So very important if this is started, and a very good concept was that we were all concentrating everything to our third trimester, all the checkups, everything were much more. Now, because of all this prediction and prevention, we started having the inversion of the pyramidal care now. So it's all stratification of the case-based and specific risk of pregnancy have been come to the first trimester, and so there has been an inversion into the pyramidal. And very rightly, Dr. Neeta ma'am added, and that WHO also says that you can give 1.5 to around 2 grams of calcium to these patients, and they would be beneficial. Now this patient comes to us back at 21 weeks, and her BP is now 150 by 100. She has no proteinuria. So do you want to admit her? Do you want to do any other investigations? If Dr. Chitra is there, otherwise anybody could take it up. So, Dr. Anju, would you like to take it?
Yes, protein.
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Anju?
We just wanted to highlight on the definitions, which are newer definitions which are there, that she is 150, 100 and
proteinuria is no more. Proteinuria is no more a consideration for diagnosing a case as preeclampsia. Now it has been out. So if there is any evidence of end organ damage along with hypertension, that comes under preeclampsia. So this is the new definition that has come up.
So
and creatinine level is again very important.
Yes. So that means we have to run the whole battery of tests to see that in spite of that there is no proteinuria, whether she really has any other organ which is being affected. So we've done the whole battery of tests for her. And now if you would like to just admit her or leave her on an OPD basis, and what would you like to put or add some medications? She is 150, 100. There is no proteinuria. All the laboratory tests are normal. So would you like to admit her? And so Dr. Anju or Abha ma'am? Yes.
I think she can be cared in a daycare center. 150 by 100. First, we have to see that it's not a white coat hypertension. We have to take 2 measurements at least 4 to 6 hours apart. And then if she has this blood pressure 150 by 100, in my opinion, I like to start an antihypertensive.
And hypertensive. Okay. So not a single
Actually, it's early onset hypertension also, because only 21 weeks. 21 weeks gestation. Am I audible?
Yes,
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 ma'am.
yes. Yes, Jyoti, you please go on.
Ma'am,
You're audible.
म्यूट योर टीवी मैम. अनिता सिंह मैम प्लीज, आपके पीछे से टीवी की आवाज आ रही है.
पता नहीं आवाज आ रही. हेलो, सबका म्यूट हो गया. हेलो, हेलो.
Yeah, ma'am. You can hear you.
Yes, ma'am, you are audible.
Okay, just now, no? But I can't hear anybody else.
He has muted everyone.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ask him to unmute me. Okay.
Yeah, ma'am.
hello. Can you hear?
Yes,
Can everybody hear?
Jyoti, go
Okay,
ahead.
I just wanted to add that this 21 weeks of gestation, it is a bit too early also. So it's basically early onset of hypertension. So maybe it is not actually gestational or so-called pregnancy induced. Maybe it's a chronic this thing after a previous eclamptic episode. So maybe she's now become a, I don't know, I can't hear anybody.
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you,
but I can't.
While you were talking, how can you hear somebody else?
Ma'am, सुनाई नहीं दे.
Can you hear us?
Yes, ma'am.
No, I'm asking Jyoti. Jyoti, can you hear me?
Ma'am, I can hear you, but like.
You are audible and visible. Why don't you go
Yes,
ahead?
thank you. Yes, ma'am. Can you hear Dr. Ritu? I can't hear Dr. Ritu.
Siddhar, can you please unmute
Hello?
Dr. Ritu?
Yes, unmute मैम.
Dr. Ritu को नहीं सुनाई दे, आवाज नहीं आ रहा है मुझे.
अच्छा, मुझे अनम्यूट करो.
Unmute मैम.
अनम्यूट किया?
Yes, ma'am, you are unmuted.
I was also unmuted.
Okay, now Jyoti, please, I will like to ask you whether you like to admit this or keep her on daycare.
No. I would not. No, I would not like to admit her definitely because, as Abha ma'am said, it's a mild hypertension and no proteinuria or any other.
Right. And so, would you like to put her on any antihypertensive treatment? She is 150, 100.
Yes, with her history and with her bad IUD and all, definitely I would like to keep her on follow-up with the blood pressure measurements at home and Labetalol. Labetalol, I think I should start.
What is your aim for keeping the blood pressure? What would you like her blood pressure to remain? Like you had antihypertensives and you like
target levels.
What is the target level that you would like to keep?
Target levels, diastolic blood pressure 100.
Yes.
100.
85.
Below
diastolic blood pressure and
85.
90.
Nowadays, it has been fixed 130 by 84.
85. Yes.
135 by 85.
So these are the nice guidelines which say, and there is a CHIPS trial which says, either you do a very tight control or you do a less tight control. That is, you aim a level of 100 or you aim a level at 85. But they found that there was not much of difference. So you could go somewhere between 85 to 90. So this was the trial which was done. And after that, we keep monitoring this patient. And what would be your first line of antihypertensive drug that you would like to choose for this patient?
Labetalol.
You think that's you won't like to put her on Nifedipine? No. But why do you make such a choice for Labetalol? What is the advantage that you want to take off from the other drugs, Labetalol? Ideally, we wanted some antihypertensive, in an oral form, very fast, and there's lack of any hypertensive effects and no acute fetal distress. So we've got a whole list of drugs, and we would like to select, you said, it's Labetalol. Any advantage of selecting this drug? At first line, suppose she doesn't get control with Labetalol, what would be your second line of action or an option for that?
Nifedipine.
Yeah, and you could just tell us if why is your choice for labetalol and the dose that is you would like to start with?
100 milligram 3 times.
Actually, in this case, we are not going to normalize the blood pressure.
Right.
What we want is to minimize the complications on the fetus and the mother as well.
Yes.
Or buy time for the fetus to grow up, and with the help of corticosteroid, if the pregnancy is going ahead, we can buy time for corticosteroid to act before delivery.
Okay. So you would like to
Moreover,
start
the
with what?
baby should not fall below 30% of the mean arterial pressure, or more than
Yes.
25%.
So labetalol would like to be our first choice, and basically the action. Anybody would like to take up this? What is the real action of labetalol, and what favorable factors it has over the other drugs?
Sudden loss of blood pressure. It doesn't cause sudden loss of blood pressure.
Yeah, the
labetalol.
hypertension is not there.
Yeah,
like we
yes.
used to have with the nifedipine, a sudden drop in the blood pressure, and it's a selective alpha 1 and a beta blocker. So yes, so it's alpha 1 adrenergic and a non-selective competitive beta adrenergic, and that's one advantage. It's a good sustained control of blood pressure, and there's no tachycardia that we have with the other drugs, and no effect on the uteroplacental blood flow also. So we have it in both forms, and we really want a drug which is there with us, injection, and switch to the oral forms, and that is why we would like to put. And these angiotensin 2, of course, she is not to take it. And now if she's going well, she's managed, the blood pressure is within the 140, 90 and all. And what would your process be? What is the timing that you would like to stretch her onto and then deliver her?
Up to 36 to 37 weeks, we should try to stretch.
Right.
If
And
not,
yes,
if it is too high, then after 34 weeks, we can deliver her with the help after giving her corticosteroids.
right. So if it's a gestational hypertension and nothing else, then we could, I think, drag it to 37 or maybe much more if she is monitored. But if it is a mild preeclampsia, then we shouldn't be extending according to the guidelines also to beyond 37 weeks. And so this should be a cutoff line, and keep monitoring her, evaluating her. Now she comes back to us at 34 weeks and the BP shoots up to 160, 110 in spite of the antihypertensive. Orally, you kept her on 100 milligram BD and she was maintaining well. And she suddenly had epigastric pain, a severe intractable headache, and repeated visual scotomas. So what would be your line of action as she comes? Are you going to admit her now? And what line of action would be there?
Yes, now she has got to be admitted because this is severe preeclampsia. 160 by 110 is severe preeclampsia. We've got to
It is
admit
imminent eclampsia. It is imminent eclampsia actually.
Correct.
Because
Right.
headache and all also.
Yes.
this imminent can be done. We can give her antihypertensive magnesium sulfate also we can give her, so that she may not go into eclampsia. Then we'll
So you
check
would
her
like-
every 4 hours.
And steroids also. Antihypertensive, Maxwell, and steroid.
Okay.
Yes.
So
Even
that
if she
combination.
takes after 2 hours, we can give her steroids.
Okay, fine. And so
We
what
maintain-
Mexelf that you would like to give her as what regime or a dose, and what do you use?
We may go for
Antihypertensive, I
IV
think
or-
you
or
start her with
even
IV hypertension.
We can
You
all
would like
try oral as well in the beginning with labetalol or nifedipine orally, not sublingually. If it
Okay.
doesn't work,
Anybody-
then
Anybody
Then-
else wants to add with 160, 110 and all these symptoms? Would you like to give her oral
Yeah,
or you
ma'am.
would like to?
IV.
No,
We
no,
give
no, no.
IV.
It will be. This is hypertensive emergency. We have to give parenteral antihypertensive.
Abha ma'am and Anita ma'am, I think we can go for the parenteral.
Oh, yes. At
Yes.
110, and with all
110,
those alarming signs, we would like to lower the blood pressure as fast as possible. And
Right.
for that, we will put her on 20 milligram IV labetalol slowly. And
Yes.
after 5 minutes, we will record the blood pressure. If it has not fallen by certain amount, then we will repeat the dose every 20 minutes.
Yes.
And we will
We
wait
double
till
the dose.
at least it is 150 by 100. And then we can put her on to oral nifedipine.
Nifedipine, yes. And the Mexelf, how would you like to
Yes,
inject?
of course,
Dr.
we have said about Maxwell and corticosteroids.
Okay,
Dr.
fine.
Ritu,
So I can
Dr. Ritu,
Yes, ma'am.
since she lost her baby last time and
Yes,
she's
ma'am.
34 weeks with
Yes.
severe preeclampsia, I would
Yes.
also like to consider her delivery after giving
Okay.
her a course of steroids.
Right. So can we start Mexelf, madam, for her?
Yes,
Definitely. It is for prophylaxis of seizures. Definitely.
prophylactic Maxalt will be giving her.
Right.
And after stabilizing the patient, actually, we will look for the fetal and placental condition.
Yes,
If her blood pressure is stabilized and she doesn't have any feet and her proteinuria is not very alarming, she doesn't have any sign of end organ damage, and the placental function is okay, AFI is good, and there is no problem with the CTG, then we can continue with the pregnancy, keeping her under strict monitoring, fetal and maternal. But if any of these things are going wrong with her, then I think, as Ava very rightly said, we should think about delivering her.
Delivery. Madam, a few points I would like.
Dr. Ritu, I have
Yes,
one
ma'am.
query at this point from Anita Di and from you. Like, suppose if we have started a prophylactic Maxel for a patient,
Yes, yes.
can we continue her pregnancy? Or once if we have started a Maxel, prophylactic Maxel, we need to terminate her pregnancy?
No, unless and until the patient has an eclamptic fit. Giving prophylactic Maxalt is not an indication for indication for
Okay, so we can. Okay. So I just wanted to clarify that.
Even if as a prophylactic measure, the patient did not have any
given as prophylactic.
Prophylactic. So we will give it for 48 hours and then stop it if her blood pressure is controlled and her symptoms are okay. What
So
is
do
your-
we repeat? So can we repeat it again? If the pregnancy is continued, then can we repeat it again?
Why should we repeat it? If her
You have to deliver the patient. Why to repeat?
And she has. I think she has a bad history earlier also, and she may end up in the same and with an IUD. So we would, I think, better prefer her to get delivered. But a few points I want to highlight, Dr. Anju, while you're giving Mexelf, what exactly would you like to keep in mind, your residents and all, that you have to keep checking these things when you're giving magnesium sulfate. So, Dr. Anju, are you there?
The plantar reflex is very important in that case.
Yes.
Rule out hypermagnesemia. And then we should monitor the urine output input.
Yes.
And respiration rate should be seen. Otherwise, we may lose the patient if we don't monitor her.
Yes.
And
monitor
the calcium and magnesium
yes.
and all.
And because 10 milliequivalent, we have to be very careful. Loss of patellar reflexes, and these because this drug is very, very safe. It's got a large safety margin. So, but in spite of that, we have to care to all these things. Now, if the urine output goes down, then what do we need to do? Do we need to stop the Mexelf, or we can still wait? And Anita ma'am, like if suppose the urine output hasn't come, it's just 50 ml in 4 hours, and do we really need to stop it?
Yes, we need to stop it.
Right. So we cannot take the risk and crossing all those levels, and the absent patella and the respiratory depression, and always have some emergency drug. Could anybody just highlight that some emergency drug has to be available there when you're giving Mexelf for a patient going into respiratory depression?
Hello.
Yeah.
हेलो
Can you hear, please?
Yes, some of
हाँ मैं थोड़ा सा 1 घंटा बाद कॉल करती हूँ मीटिंग चल रहा है
For your original panelists, where are they? I think we should look for them. Are they connected or not?
Yes, now we should be off. Let them talk.
Yes.
Yeah, we cannot make out who's connected. Dr. Anju, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, Dr. Anju, we like to have some drug, and that is something like calcium gluconate should always be there because that, yes, for the respiratory. So,
and also you can add furosemide to it to increase the urinary output.
Yeah, if the patient
As long
is
as
just
the patient is hydrated.
Yes, definitely. And does magnesium effect have a beneficial effect on the neonate?
It is neuroprotective. It has the long-term sequelae it prevents in the newborn.
Prevents, especially if she is less than 34 weeks.
At 34 weeks, it has not been proved. It has no
neuroprotective.
If she's less than
32 weeks.
32
then
weeks,
of
yes.
course, 32 weeks, then it is
32
going
weeks.
Yeah. And then you give for a neuroprotection. And
under
now,
all symptoms labor, we are using it as a prophylactic.
Yeah. So we'll just go to the decisions. How do we take maternal and fetal conditions? That when we are now in these conditions and she is in severe hypertension, and what are the conditions in maternal, and that you take Dr. Jyoti.
Yeah. Yes.
Now we just like to take indications. When you take a decision, now that we decide yes, which is going to this, now we have to finish. Let's take the maternal and the fetal when we have to take decisions.
So maternal decision, yes, there are maternal factors and fetal factors. So
Yeah.
in the maternal, if the blood pressure is not controlled, that is
Yes.
uncontrolled hypertension, and that is that by definition on 2 antihypertensive drugs. If the blood pressure is not controlled on
Yes.
2 antihypertensive drugs, or if she has signs of imminent eclampsia, like this patient is having visible scotoma and all that stuff,
Yes.
then maybe we have to terminate the pregnancy.
And
then
especially
the
with the-
fetal risk factors are there. Yeah, and then the fetal risk factors are there, like severe IUGR with Doppler changes, or persistent less fetal movements, or oligohydramnios, or that way if any abruption is there. So abruptio is a common complication.
And would you
So
like to advise
that-
Doppler for the fetus? For the Doppler, you would like to do the Doppler, and what exactly
Yeah,
you're looking in for the Doppler?
Yes, for the
umbilical artery,
Yeah.
umbilical artery color flow. This high resistance flow.
Okay. So we look for the umbilical artery, then we go for the middle cerebral artery, and of course, then we have the whatever flows are there into the umbilical artery. And we are really worried when there are flows are getting absent or getting reversed, right?
Reversed flows.
So
Yes.
now those would be indication. So absent end diastolic flow in the umbilical artery beyond 32 weeks, or a reverse diastolic, or an NST with ominous signs, mainly loss of reactivity, persistent prolonged deceleration. So always remember, but that any acute maternal change in maternal preeclampsia profile will affect the fetus for some time. So unless the obvious signs, do not rush to deliver for fetal indication, especially when she's having a fits, we can just wait till the fits finish up. And oligohydramnia solely if it is there, it is not an indication for termination. So now she has BP of 162, 112, and umbilical artery reversal of blood flow, and the cervix is not favorable. So what decision would you like to take, Dr. Jyoti? If you would like to go in for the delivery, and what?
And her, yeah. Because cervix is not favorable, so cesarean section should be offered.
Yeah.
Cesarean section should be offered to the patient.
And you had given us steroid
And for the risk of, we had given that Maxelf and antihypertensives and steroids covered.
Fine.
So with the counseling for prematurity, we'll deliver.
Okay. So any precautions that you need to tell or the patient explain you're going to give, or the anesthetist you'll discuss with that this anesthesia, which one is safer?
Actually, previously it was thought that general anesthesia would be difficult because of this edema and all. Intubation will be difficult. So, and this is so, actually this is correct, and therefore spinal is good enough, or epidural. Epidural is the best one.
Right. Hello. Hello, Dr. Jyoti, are you there?
I think she is muted.
I think some network connection is there.
Network connection is bad. Connection is bad.
Okay, fine.
Dr.
So
Tiwari is there.
Dr. Tiwari is there. Would take up which anesthesia, would like to prefer, and a little guidance on what needs to be done before the anesthesia and the intrapartum, and something on the fluid that we like to take care. Dr. Tiwari?
Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So we'll like you to highlight something on the anesthesia and the fluid and the test, or something that would like to be done before the anesthesia.
There should be preloading with the Ringer's lactate solution. Ringer's lactate solution.
Yes.
3 pints. And regional anesthesia is preferred in that case. Yes.
And I think we would also like to check for the platelet counts of this patient.
Add something.
Yes.
we will like to restrict the fluid in this case.
Yes, very correct. I think,
While
madam.
other patients will not preload her too much.
Yes.
Because she is very likely to go into acute pulmonary edema. So before inducing anesthesia, I will like to control her blood pressure, and
Yes.
I will like to know her PT and FETT, because she may have developed some early stage of DIC. So
Yes.
that can only be detected with these tests if you do. Or if
even-
available, go for further test, but PT and FETT must be done in all these type of preeclamptic, severe preeclamptic patients before giving anesthesia. And if the platelet is beyond 100,000, then only one should go for regional anesthesia. Otherwise, regional anesthesia is contraindicated if platelet count is less.
Madam, if she is on low dose aspirin, she could go on with the anesthesia if not stop.
It has been seen that even if you do not
Yes.
stop aspirin, there is no problem. You can go ahead if emergency surgery is required. There is
Right.
no problem. It has been seen upon large series of cases.
Right. And if she was somewhere on a low molecular weight heparin, then that
Then low molecular heparin should ideally be stopped 24 hours before the surgery. If not possible, at least 12 hours must pass since the last dose of the low molecular weight.
right. So she had a cesarean and she delivered, and subsequently she had a male child, 2.7 kgs, and she was happy. But suddenly, on the 13 hours after delivery, she complained of blindness, severe headache, seizures, and altered sensorium. So what next do we do now? Her blood pressure was 190 by 110, hemoglobin 9, and her platelet was 162. Renal and hepatic functions as well as electrogram was normal. Magnesium sulfate was being continued. And the IV antihypertensive. What could be possible that she really had?
She's suffering from Press syndrome.
Right. So we went, the consultation was sent to a neurologist to please help us out with it.
And if a scan will be done, then the diagnosis can be confirmed.
So the CT scan, yes, the CT scan, madam, was done. The MRI was done, sorry, for this patient. And that showed symmetrical white matter edema, as madam said. That was a correct diagnosis. And it involved the parieto-occipital regions bilaterally. So what should be our move now with this patient? Should we really need to panic? She need to change her decision for her management? And
now onwards she should be cared along with the help of neurophysician, and they do not change much the treatment because gradually this condition improves.
Okay, fine, madam. So this is there's a primary involvement of the brain, which is not very well understood, but it is explained that the better auto-regulation of the anterior circulation due to better sympathetic innervations as compared to the posterior. And so we get this picture, but this is only radiologically diagnosed. So delivery of the baby and the placenta, which has been done, the magnesium and antihypertensive. And I think, madam, we like to just wait. It will regress on its own because, as the name suggests, it's reversible. It's a posterior reversible encephalopathy syndrome, madam. So we really need to wait, and the patient would recover on their own.
Yes, she will recover on that.
Okay,
Usually
so-
these patients will recover.
But it takes
Right.
time.
Takes time, right?
And patient
So-
starts panicking. Actually, the attendants and the patients panic when this sort of symptoms appear. So we
So
check
we-
with other specialties also so that they are more confident about their treatment. And
So
their
it takes around, I think, 7 to 8 days, and our patient also recovered on the 6th postpartum day, and then she was discharged. So as a precaution, I would like to take a few slides of this very, very important, madam, on the methyl folate, which we really need to take care for this patient to counsel them for the next pregnancy, and that is L-methyl folate. We must understand this pathway, that it is being converted into an active form, that is L-methyl folate, and with B12 it converts into tetrahydrofolate. So we need B12 also over there, and the subsequent path is the homocysteine formed has to convert into cysteine by B6. So these patients have to be given a combination of all three for the next pregnancies to decrease, because homocystinemia has been found to be associated 7.7-fold risk for preeclampsia in this patient, and that is due to hyperhomocystinemia. And also, not only this, but the genetic mutations, the MTHFR polymorphism is there, which will not allow the folic acid to act. And if there is a polymorphism, the active form will not be available, and therefore again there will be a hyperhomocystinemia. Therefore, the active forms of folic acid, that is L-methyl folate, vitamin B, that is methylcobalamin, and B6, that is pyridoxal, should be given to this patient. And L-methyl folate is a genetic nutrient to counter the genetic polymorphism. So we directly get it into the active form, And this 5 milligram methyl is equivalent to 5 milligram folic acid. So all these high-risk patients should be given a combination to prevent, and that is folate 5, B12 1000 and B6. So this, I think, advice, if Madam agree, that we should be giving to our patients. Is that, Madam, anything else you would advise for the next pregnancy when she's going into? Or this is okay?
In between pregnancy, I will like to do her, test her for antiphospholipid syndrome.
Right. Okay. So antiphospholipid needs to be taken care of. We move on to the second case, and that's a 27-year-old pregnant woman, and she's gravida 2 para 1, twin pregnancy, unsupervised, no antenatal cares, and she's referred to us from a district hospital for 33 weeks, twin pregnancy, 170, 100 of PP. Now, she was conscious, oriented, dyspneic, her pulse rate 102, respiratory rate 25, and BP was 170, 110, Krebs, tachycardia, pitting edema. So, per abdomen distended, edema over the abdominal wall, FHS localized, and uterus was relaxed. So, these are the factors, and what your diagnosis would be at the spot. What would we label her as for the diagnosis? And Dr. Savita, I think, is not there. Anybody could take this. That seeing to the picture, what do we feel? She is a case of, we suspect her to be something like a preeclampsia?
Yes.
Dr.
Okay.
Tiwari
Yes.
is there. I think he will take up.
Okay, Dr. Tiwari. So what do you feel your diagnosis would be just at this spot? Just a diagnosis, and then I put up these blood reports.
She is a case of severe preeclampsia.
Okay. So I've done her blood picture, Dr. Tiwari, and she has a platelet of 55,000. GBP not reported.
Yes, and plus with HELP syndrome.
Okay. So we
She is a
like
case
to...
of preeclampsia with HELP syndrome.
Okay. Would you like to clarify she would be a little HELP or a partial HELP syndrome? I would go back to her blood reports again. Because derangement of the parameters we can find into the platelets, we can find into the LDH, and these two are the parameters. So would you like to classify much more as a partial HELP?
According to the Tennessee classification, she is a case of true HELP, not partial HELP.
Okay.
True
So we
HELP.
have, yeah, but we have her
Partial
AST,
There are two types
AST.
of classification. One is the Mississippi and the Tennessee.
Yes,
There are two types of classification. One is the Mississippi and the Tennessee classification.
correct. Yes.
The Tennessee classification divides into the true and the partial.
Okay, fine. So,
Seem to be the true HELP
okay,
because the platelets are also low.
all the
The
parameters.
SGPT, SGA2, and the LD. Yes.
And Dr. Jyoti, what would be your antepartum? Like, how would you try to manage your antepartum now? Would you like to give her medications?
I was not here with, this is the HELP syndrome case.
Yes, yes.
HELP syndrome.
Yeah.
HELP syndrome actually is a management, basically conservative management has got a lot of problems in HELP syndrome. But if it is a less than 34 weeks pregnancy, then maybe for 24 to 48 hours, we can give a conservative management. And with the controlling all the blood pressure and other, in this case, I think there was some pulmonary edema also was there.
Yeah.
Am I right? So she has to be admitted to ICU. She has the maternal and the fetal conditions have to be monitored, and X-ray chest has to be done, ECG has to be done, and of course ultrasonography of the whole abdomen to see the liver and all, any subcapsular bleed is there or that has to be taken care of. And the platelet also was less in this case, if I remember. So
55,000.
platelets, yes. Yeah, 55. So 55 is not that much less, and there is no bleeding as such, and the half-life also is very less. So platelets until delivery is imminent, we don't need to transfuse. At 55, definitely not. So that is, and she needs critical management. And 33 weeks, I think we can consider delivery also.
Okay, fine. Anju, you're worried about some complications and all that could arise over here? Dr. Anju, are you there connected with us? Dr. Anju? Dr. Pallavi? Dr. Pallavi? Dr. Chitra?
Hello, am I audible?
Yeah. Is that Dr. Pallavi or?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
She is Anju.
In this health syndrome, the liver damage is always there.
Correct.
She may go in multi-organ failure. The liver, the kidneys can be damaged. The capsule of the liver may be ruptured and she may bleed from there.
Yes. Yes. So you are also in favor of delivering her? Now she's 33 weeks and you don't want her to be carried on. Do you want to give some steroids and would that help in the management?
Yes, it will.
Yes,
Steroids as usual should be given.
Should be given. Anita ma'am, steroids in HELLP syndrome?
Actually, she is 33 weeks and she is still pregnancy.
Yes,
so
ma'am.
I will check the history whether she has already been given steroids or not. Most of the time where we apprehend preterm labor and all that, we give.
She has not been given any steroids because she didn't go anywhere for antenatal checkup also. So we would like to give her. And
first of all, I will like to treat her hypertension and try to treat her pulmonary edema and see the oxygen saturation.
Right.
If all those things are normal, then I will give her steroids before that. I would like to give her steroids before getting her to
yes,
liver.
madam, you will be giving steroids. Would that change the disease or it is for the fetal maturity that we are giving?
It has been seen that it does have some beneficial effect on the disease also. At least it is not going to harm the disease. So it is going to be beneficial to some extent.
I think according to the recent guidelines, steroids do not have a place in the management of HELLP syndrome. I think the latest guidelines say that steroids do not affect the course of the disease.
Course of the disease, and it could be given for the fetal maturity only if you want.
Fetal benefit, definitely. For fetal benefit, we have to give for fetal maturity, but not for the course of the disease. The recent guidelines, they say that. But people have been using steroids in HELLP syndrome. Right. Initially.
Dr. Anju, would you like to deliver her? Is it essential that we have to go for a cesarean or how do you decide that?
It's not essential to go. It's not essential to go for a cesarean. If the findings are good, we can go for vaginal also.
If favorable cervix, you could like to do.
Yes,
Dr. Pallavi, what could be you want to give? She is 55,000 and what would be the need? Do you need to give her platelet transfusion also? Dr. Pallavi, are you there? Hello? Dr. Tiwari, are you there, sir? So, any... Dr. Chitra? So, I think if platelet is generally indicated to prevent excessive bleeding and if the platelet count goes less than 20,000 of cesarean is planned, platelet is required to achieve more than 50,000. That we discussed in the previous game. And we manage the complications. And Dr. Tiwari?
Dr. Ritu, I want to tell you one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
Once you develop blood platelet count by 50,000, we should look for her PT, APTT and platelet count repeatedly because it may be deteriorating very fast. Sometimes permanent cases, it deteriorates fast. Suppose you have admitted the patient today and you plan to do the surgery tomorrow or day after, then you should repeat the test. If it is worsening, then you should go earlier for delivery and terminating the pregnancy with arrangements for blood, all the components and platelets at your hands if you are trying to.
Correct.
Right. And so, managing the hepatic complications, if any, we have to be very careful of these patients. Dr. Tiwari, we need to be careful for the, hepatic complications which could be there. Dr. Tiwari, are you there, sir? Sir? Dr. Tiwari? Disconnected. So, any history again of an epigastric or pain should be taken care of. And the postpartum, yes, Dr. Tiwari, would you like to highlight the postpartum recovery in these patients? I think initially after the postpartum recovery in the patients of HELLP. Hello?
रामाधर तिवारी है हम लोगों के साथ पीजी किए.
So initially maybe sometimes the lab values may deteriorate, but an upward trend and a downward trend in LDH is generally seen by 4th post-op day. So we have to keep monitoring, as Anita ma'am says, with all the platelets and APTT and all, and I think she would recover well. And the next is a 26-year-old. Neela ma'am, would you like to read up this case? Neela ma'am? Neela ma'am? Neela ma'am is connected? Okay, I'll just take up this case fast. 26 years old, 1 month and 14 days, and a pain and abdominal spotting since 2 days. UPT was positive. Hemoglobin is 10 and O negative. She had history of 1 episode of pain abdomen, and after a marriage, she had that history before marriage. After marriage, sorry.
Your slide is not there.
Okay,
Slide is not seen. Yeah,
sorry.
yeah.
Now it's okay.
No, it's
Yeah.
No, we can't see this.
No.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, it's seen.
Yes.
Right, 26 years old. She has para 0, 1 month, 14 days amenorrhea, slight pain in abdomen, spotting since 2 days, UPT is positive, done self, and hemodynamically stable, 10 gram, O negative, history of 1 episode of pain abdomen after her marriage 1 year back, but had not missed a period at that time, just pain abdomen, 1 history 1 year back. So what could your suspicion be, or you could just suspect that possibility is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then how would you move investigating her? And Dr. Tiwari? Dr. Tiwari is connected?
Dr. Tiwari doesn't seem to be.
No, okay. So we could take it as an early pregnancy. I think we could differentiate. So what are the investigations anybody could take up? Pallavi? Dr. Pallavi?
No. Jyoti can take up.
Okay, Jyoti. Fine. So how would you we'll go in short, just to cover it up, that what investigation you would like to do specifically. Madam Anita Ma'am said we did miss our pars speculum, per vaginam, so you've done that. Anything else?
We should do a transvaginal sonography to confirm whether it is intrauterine or extrauterine pregnancy, and whether it's viable or not viable, and serum beta HCG should be done.
Right. And we always do pars speculum examination, see the internal losses gone.
That goes without.
Right. And do you do a single reading of HCG, or you do a serial HCG monitoring?
No, it depends actually. If it is not corresponding to the gestational age, then we can do the serial. But if it is corresponding, then maybe we can just clinically also we can follow her up.
Okay, fine. So, and if the beta HCG you find, you could do a serial, and this we've taken up. Now, this patient had a inhomogeneous mass 30 millimeters, which was next to the ovary with no sac or embryo. And by pressing, it was moving separately to the ovary. So, the diagnosis and a beta HCG was 1400 IU. She was hemodynamically stable. So, how would you like to move? You would like to do an expectant management in this, or you would like to go in for medical or surgical? Dr. Pallavi is there? Or Dr. Anju?
No, Dr.
Anju is there? Anju?
Anju, yeah.
So, Anju, you would like to take her expectantly or do medical or surgical? She is having 1400 HCG, she is stable, and she's got a cystic mass, which is 30 millimeters.
Dr. Anju also seemed to be lost.
Everybody is lost.
Everybody is lost slowly. So, I think we can.
Only Jyoti is there. Only Jyoti is there.
No, Abha is there.
Original panelist.
Ritu, did you mention something about the uterine cavity?
Cavity is empty, madam. Cavity is empty. She has just the sac 30 millimeters, stable with 1400 IU HCG.
Abha ma'am.
I'll personally go for a medical management with close observation.
Right.
I think I also.
And what are the criteria exactly we've taken up for a medical management?
Like in this case, the size of the sac, the level of HCG, and the fetal viability. All these three things, and the patient is hemodynamically stable. If these things are there,
so
then
what
we can take up.
drug would you like to give into her? You like to put her on which medication that you said?
Medication is always methotrexate.
Yes.
That is given as a single dose of 50 milligram per square meter body surface area. And then we follow her up with beta HCG and ultrasonography. And if the size of the sac is decreasing and the beta HCG levels are falling, then we are happy with it. And if we find that the beta HCG levels are static or increasing, then we are concerned. And accordingly, we can then modify a management.
Follow-up is very important, and yes, of these patients. And if she has a bigger sac or unstable, then we could go in for the surgical management also. And of course, she is RH negative. Madam, do we need to give her an NTD? She is RH negative in all patients, medical or surgical? Abha ma'am?
In medical management, I don't think we need to give her an anti-D.
No, anti-D in
No,
both
I
systems.
No,
think
anti-D should be given.
it should be given because she's already bled.
More in both
Yes.
systems, anti-D has to be given.
It was only spotting. It was only spotting.
Whatever it is,
But anti-D.
they
In all
can be.
patients of
Anti-D should be
ectopic,
given.
yeah.
There is no harm in giving anti-D.
Yes.
Well, it is less than 8 weeks, but still there is no harm in giving.
Yeah, it should be given, I think. Should I take up this case in short, the last one? Should I take up, madam, this case in last,
yes.
or should I finish it up? We can end up?
I think
Just
I
run
think
through.
run
You
through
want me-
this case last.
Run through
Okay,
the
we'll
case.
just take up very few points on this case. She's a 30-year-old with 16 weeks pregnancy. She has a previous preterm birth at 24 weeks. There is no history of diabetes, hypertension in the previous and the present, and all tests done were normal. So she has a history of previous preterm birth. So she is high risk, and what should we do?
16 weeks.
She is at
16 weeks.
When we monitor the cervical length right from 16 weeks of pregnancy.
we grade her as a
And,
high-risk patient for the preterm again. And so we can do a risk stratification by the history. And you said what is to be done? We do a cervical.
Cerclage can be done.
Cervical
Cervical and cerclage will come later, but before that, we'll have to see whether
Before
the
that, we have to
cervix is 2.5 centimeters or less or more. If it is more, there's no need for cerclage. If it is less than 2.5 centimeters and there is a funneling, if we see, then we should definitely go for cerclage, and we'll label her as a high-risk pregnancy.
Yeah, fine. So we could, but madam, in every patient, do we really do the cerclage, or we decide by some other historical factor that whether the cerclage?
We'll have to see for the
We
cervical
take the history.
in the dilatation of the cervix is more than 1 centimeters and less than 3 centimeters. At that time, we can go for cerclage.
Madam, the history is important. History is important,
yes.
like how she delivered, whether there was pain or whether painless delivery occurred, and the bag just bulged, or she delivered and called painless. So maybe in that case we can give cerclage. Otherwise, so I don't think.
Madam, would you like to prefer progesterone instead of a cerclage for her?
Can be, can.
Progesterone.
Because
Very
she,
well with progesterone without cerclage in such a case.
because she has a history only of a preterm. But I think if she would have had some cervical trauma or cervical injury or something like that, if we could even start this patient on
Abdominal also.
abdominal. So yes, so I think we can start her on progesterone. And the period which we start progesterone, because she is with us at 16 weeks, is that the right time we could start her with progesterone?
Yes.
And can we continue this progesterone throughout?
Right up to 34 weeks.
34. Any selection of the progesterone you would give her as hydroxy or vaginal, or there is no preferred progesterone?
Vaginal micronized.
Vaginal
micronized progesterone.
Because of the more bioavailability, I think, to then the uterine first pass effect. Safety is there. Okay, fine. And we've seen that the progesterone has a very beneficial effect even on the cervix also. And now she comes to us at 28 weeks, and the sonologist says that she's got bulging membranes. Would you like to do anything, some cerclage to be put here now? She's only got no pains, nothing. Could there be
given a rescue?
Can be given.
Rescue cerclage.
And you would like to start. Okay, so we've done a rescue cerclage for her, and 33 weeks she presented with complaints of lower abdominal pain radiating to both thighs and lower back. And since one day more, since 12 hours, it's much more. There's no history of burning, micturition, bowel disturbances, fever, and no white discharge. Now, how do we move about? Later, 8 hours after, she started having contractions. Cervical dilatation 3 centimeter, effacement 50%, and the fetal heart is normal. So what do we do? Do we give her tocolytics? She is with us at...
Tocolytics can be given, but they don't have much benefit.
For the steroids to act, short-term tocolytics for the steroids to act.
She is 33 weeks.
Yes,
So-
steroids can give to buy time for the fetus to go to 34 weeks or for lung maturation.
Correct. So that I think would be better. We start her with tocolytics, and your preferred tocolytic would be which drug, madam, that you would like to give?
Nifedipine.
Definitely.
Okay.
Madam, one question. Should we remove the cerclage at this stage? 3 centimeters dilatation?
Anita ma'am?
Hello?
Abha ma'am, Anita ma'am, would you like to remove the cerclage that you have done?
Once she has gone 3 centimeters dilatation,
we have to
should be removed. And we should
that is what
yes, ma'am.
Yes. So would you like to use iso?
I would have given at the time of cerclage itself corticosteroid and tocolytics. I think it is better to start once the patient has reached, but with bulging membranes. Any moment she can go. She can.
Okay, ma'am, but that was 28 weeks, and she has continued to 33 weeks. Then that steroid you have given, would you like to give a repeat dose of steroid now?
Yes,
we can consider one course.
Should be repeated. One rescue course should be given.
Okay,
if 14 days has passed between the first and the second course, then it can be repeated.
You would like to use isoflurane in this patient, or you prefer Defidepin now?
I will like to use isoflurane.
Isoflurane.
Again, we have started using.
Yeah.
What is the more? What is the advantage of Nifedipine over isoflurane?
Isoflurane, we can monitor the doses. We give it IV in the form of IV, and we can gradually increase the doses as long as the contraction persists. Once the contraction ceases, then we can maintain at that dose, or we can even
oral dose also. Madam, the oral you give us 40 or 20, which is beneficial more, 40 milligrams?
40 milligram BID.
Yeah, I think 40 is much better than the 20.
40 milligram BID, yes.
And would you like to give antibiotics also into this patient?
Yes, I will like to give, because she had 3 centimeter dilatation and she was having this suture supplied. There are some chances of infection to her.
And when she had come before at 28 weeks with bulging, you would like to have added up her antibiotics at that time?
Yes, at that time also I would like to add her 1 week of
which antibiotic?
Erythromycin.
Erythromycin.
Yeah. Okay. And then any care that now she's going into labor, we've put a cerclage, we've removed, and any precaution that we need to take at this time of delivery?
If the patient is not in the tertiary care center, he should be sent to that center where there is facility for newborn care, and neonatologist should be informed regarding this patient, and once the patient delivers, the baby has to be handed over to the neonatologist for neonatal care.
Right.
The delivery has to be slow. We should avoid rapid compression and decompression of the head.
Yes.
And liberal epi, these are the old teachings that we were given, and liberal episiotomy should be given.
Yes.
And the cord should be clamped immediately. Or if the baby is asphyxiated, and if the baby is not asphyxiated, then we can do a late clamping of the cord so that some amount of blood goes from the mother to the baby.
Yeah.
And of course, a neonatologist should be in attendance.
Yes. So now my rapid fire 5 to my chairpersons and my panelists who are still there with us. Commonest cause of maternal death and eclampsia is cerebral hemorrhage or pulmonary edema? I think it is more to be
pulmonary edema.
Pulmonary edema. Pulmonary edema, yes. And my expert panelists and all will tell me first trimester use of ACE inhibitors. If she's using, is it an indication she needs to terminate the pregnancy?
Not an indication as such.
Correct. Because she has renal complications which deliver later. So not a indication. In HELLP syndrome, lactate dehydrogenase concentration will increase or it was decrease? Increase. So preeclampsia is associated with increased or decreased renal perfusion. That we need to worry.
Decreased.
So the maintenance dose of Mexel should be increased if the output is increasing. Urine is increasing. Do we need to increase the dose of Mexel?
Same.
And the side effect of nifedipine is hypotension. Is it true or false?
True.
So this brings us, and I again need your blessings and support. Thank you so much. It was a very, very nice. I hope you all enjoyed the panel. There were very, very practical points. And thank you so much for the same. Thank you, Neela ma'am. Thank you, Anita ma'am. Ma'am. And thank you so much.
Special thanks should be given out to our rescue panelists, Dr. Abha Rani Sana and Madam
yes, definitely.
They should be thanked especially for their
but we have really good inputs. Very nice. Yeah, good inputs, very short and very practical. We learned a lot of practical things from Abha ma'am and Anita ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Thank you, Ritu. The pleasure is ours. Thank you. To be with you for these 2 hours. Thank you, Ritu.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone.
Good luck.
Thank
Share.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
Before we finish off, can't hear.
It is almost on time. We finished at 6:08.
Yes, sir.
Nibha ma'am, we can't hear you.
Unmute,
Nibha, unmute yourself.
Unmute yourself.
Unmute, Nibha.
Unmute. Unmute. Nibha. Nay. Unmute. Oh my God.
Priyanka, just unmute Nibha ma'am.
Yeah. Siddharth.
I think there is Jyoti. We cannot see Jyoti anymore. Where is she?
She is there.
Hello, yes, ma'am.
We can't see her.
Siddharth. Nibha ma'am को
She is there. She is there. Dr. Nibha is there. But she is speaking, but we can't hear. Nibha.
Unmute her.
Unmute है तभी वो सुना ही नहीं पड़ रहा है.
Connection is not working. Her connection is not working.
हाँ, connection का बहुत problem था.
Nibha ma'am is not here.
Siddharth, just unmute her.
All are
Nibha
unmuted.
नहीं सुनाई पड़ रहा है.
All are
Ma'am, can
unmuted, ma'am. All are unmuted.
Why can't we hear her?
I think she's unmuted from her side.
Ma'am, please refresh your screen, ma'am.
Refresh.
Now, here you have to refresh.
Yeah.
No. Hello, Nibha. Again. She's...
Again, she continues.
So I think then I should only say a big thank you to all the panelists, Dr. Anju, Choria, Dr. Mudar Singh, who was there, and Dr. Jyoti, who was there for such a long time. I don't know whether she is now there or not, but she was there answering all the questions.
Yeah, she
And
was.
special thanks to our rescue panelists, Dr. Anita Singh ma'am and Dr. Abha Rani
Never
Sinha,
clap for
who
them.
were chairpersons as well as the panelists. And
Madam.
Dr. Ritu Khanna, it was really very nice panel.
Madam.
I am really sorry that we had such poor
Dr.
connectivity
Dr.
and
Tiwari
we could not enjoy.
Anita,
And
बोल रहे हैं, सुनिए.
Anita ma'am is saying something.
you could listen to Anita.
तो एक फोटो देखिए मैडम.
अच्छा
This-
और ऊपर कीजिए ना और
this-
ऊपर कीजिए। हाँ, ऊपर हाँ,
This baby is 18 days old.
okay.
Hello. This baby is 18 old.
हाँ.
Delivered at 26 weeks following PROM, PPPROM.
Okay.
And I have given steroids and nifedipine and routine way में because the prognosis was already explained, but this baby is alive even without NICU at Lady Elgin Hospital गया with just support,
Great.
just basic supports. There is no NICU admission.
So
You see the baby?
Was it?
It is
Yes.
18 years old, 18 days old.
Good.
so that's
Male
why
or female?
Taking
Good. Ritu is asking male or female.
ये तो नहीं बताएंगे. ये तो नहीं बताएंगे जब नीकू में जब नहीं गया तो फीमेल ही होगी.
फीमेल ही होगा मस्त
जब नीकू में नहीं गई
Registration क्या होगा?
नीकू में नहीं गया तो
So-
फीमेल ही होगा
तो regarding the counseling we should change our mindset कि ऐसा कुछ नहीं होगा. नॉर्मल वे में भी हो सकता है, सपोर्ट में भी हो सकता
बिल्कुल
है.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल हो सकता
God is great. God is great.
so
है
that's why
Yes,
Born
of
in
Christ.
those eras.
so that is why our panel was,
PPROM.
yeah, the panel was
Yes.
where decision matters, sir. So
Actually, what happened? When the patient जब आई तो मैंने कहा कि देखो इसको तो कुछ नहीं हो सकता है। 2 दिन तक उसको रेस्ट दिया, रेस्ट देने के बाद बोली कि अब ठीक है मेरा। तो मैंने कहा कि ठीक नहीं है, वो तो लाइकर है ही नहीं है, तो ड्रेन का होगा। फिर उसके बाद जब कराया 5 दिन के बाद तो फिर थोड़ा लाइकर आया। उसके बाद 7वां दिन फिर वो लेबर में चली गई एंड से डिलीवर नॉर्मली। एंड यू सी
Miracles happen.
Thank you very much, madam.
Yeah, thank you.
There was a lot
Thank you, Dr. Ramadhar Tiwari.
connection.
Actually, there was so much problem with the connection. Huh?
Yeah, and disturbance.
Otherwise,
Am I audible now?
Disturbance, so that
Yeah,
you
Nibha,
Am I audible now?
Yeah, Nibha.
Yes, Nibha, you are audible. Nibha, you are audible.
And you really
So I
was the vote of thanks.
So that's the end of today's session. So we had a wonderful scientific talk by Dr. Ritu Khanna and excellent panel discussion with the rescue panelists, Dr. Anita Singh Madam and Dr. Abha Ranidi. So that's made a wonderful panel after all.
But Nibha, you know, with Anita ma'am and Abha ma'am, we got so many inputs, you know. So
Yes, yes.
we were benefited.
Right.
And the other panelists, Dr. was continuously sending messages that she was unable to connect and she was feeling so depressed that she was
we felt very bad about them. Pallavi and Chitra could not connect.
Pallavi was and disconnecting all the time. So anyway, we had a nice discussion. Thanks for all, Dr. Ritu, and
Thank you. Thank you.
To thank our President, Dr. Neelam.
next
And
time
I
you
wish
must
to
ensure
thank
our
Sir, you should have a strong internet connectivity. 60 Mbps. That's 60 Mbps.
The previous thing we had not so much a problem. It was better on that.
Pragya has been continuously regretted that
we had a very nice discussion.
So in her absence. And then I wish to thank both the chairpersons, Dr. Anita Singh Madam and Dr. Abha Rani Madam, and being excellent panelists also, and rescued the whole situation. My sincere thanks to Dr. Ritu Khanna for her excellent talk as a guest speaker, and moderated the panel so nicely, and co-moderated also. And thank you to all senior members who spared their time for this webinar. And then I must thank all the panelists, Dr. Ramadhar Tiwari sir, Dr. Pallavi Roy, Dr. Anju Turya, Dr. Jyoti Malhotra. There was most of the time connection. And
very connection.
And then I wish to connect our Acumentis group, Khushbu, Priyanka, and all her team.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining us.
They tried their best to
sometimes weather and all.
But anyhow, I feel
you did not have Ritu, me, and Abha.
Yeah, we were connected.
We did not have any problem.
Yes. But most of the time, I was being unmuted.
Anju was also connected.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
I also couldn't connect. Most of the time, I also had to kind of reconnect it. Every time I went off, I don't know how.
Maybe weather
I
and all.
but somehow I feel Zoom is better platform for this webinar. All the other platforms have such problem. Most of the time, I found Zoom as the best for the connectivity.
You cannot say that today it was bad. Otherwise, in most of the meetings, it's normal.
It is a chance. It is a chance.
It was a chance because every time else we had good connections, and it never used to be so bad. I also used to get blocked.
Problem even today. Abha, you also did not have any problem today?
No, today I didn't have any problem, Anita.
Abha has got a strong connection for her international talk.
I have got a strong connection. I have taken a strong connection.
Abha ma'am, congratulations. Abha ma'am, congratulations to you.
Thank you, Dr. Ritu.
Really proud of you. Really
No
proud.
connectivity.
So I'm
Dr.
just having this
Anju was also connected. Dr. Anju, you were connected with us? Dr. Anju? Yeah.
And Anju, you are wearing a beautiful dress.
And
Thank you.
you know,
please stand up and show us.
stand up.
Nowadays
Yeah,
we are
I know.
doing all those things.
Yes.
It's a very, very old dress, ma'am.
But looking pretty.
But
Yeah. And very soothing color. Color is very soothing.
खड़ा होना मना है इसमें साइबर टॉक में खड़ा होना मना है. There are lot of jokes. And Anita was perhaps pointing that only. Yes, I could. We had a very nice time and we really enjoyed this evening.
Thank you.
Everyone got
Thank
your
you, Anita
point.
ma'am. Thank you, Abha ma'am. And need your blessings always, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we will all support you.
Yeah. Thank you. Bye bye, Neela ma'am. Thank you. Bye bye, Neela.
I don't know how
Thank you, ma'am.
go offline.
Thank you, Neelam,
Thank
for
you.
having me here.
Yeah.
But disconnect करते हैं.
Now the extra voice is also gone. All the capture was extra sound.
There was somebody's TV also running in the background. I don't know whose.
Yeah.
But music was going also.
बहुत डिस्टरबेंस था. हम तो इतना डिस्टरबेंस वाला बहुत कम ही देखे हैं अपने साथ. लेकिन खैर गुड रेस्क्यू पैनल.
अनम्यूटेड हो जा रहा था, म्यूटेड हो जा रहा था.
अरे अनम्यूटेड तो छोड़ो, हम तो बाहर ही निकल जा रहे थे. मेरा तो बीच में डिस्कनेक्ट हो जा रहा था. हमको तो समझ ही नहीं आ रहा. हम को मॉडरेटर बने हुए थे और एक भी क्वेश्चन हम नहीं पूछ सके क्योंकि हमको दिख भी नहीं रहा था इतना छोटा स्क्रीन पे.
और अब आपको को